ainda não tem esse Fluency Pack, você pode aproveitar aqui e entrar nesse link aqui no chat ou na descrição do vídeo, tá bom? Teacher Qual, how are you?
Hello. Hey, Teacher Ka. I'm doing very good, and I just want to say hi to all the new students or possible students that are going to be joining us.
Yeah, so, guys, just a second, Teacher Qual, because I have a good news for them. Pessoal, eu tenho uma boa notícia para vocês, que vocês têm que aproveitar agora o nosso código. O nosso código é PAC já. Com esse código PAC já, você tem 50% de desconto no nosso plano anual. Então, você usa esse código para você ter 50% de desconto no nosso plano anual, tá bom? Se você tem um filho, uma filha e quer colocar no Cambly Kids, você pode aproveitar esse código usando Cambly... desculpa, gente, é PAC já Kids. Com esse código, você também tem 50% de desconto, tá bom? Teacher Qual, go on!
Thank you, Teacher Ka. So as Teacher Ka was saying, you have a discount, a promo code that's going to be a great amount for you guys to join. And not only that, we have great material to help you study, practice, and learn English. Now, this is almost a once-in-a-lifetime little deal. We don't usually do this, so this is a very special offer, and we really wanted to give you guys something extra so that way you can join and you can learn and practice the most you can. So,
pessoal,
what is the Fluency Pack?
Todo mundo aqui participando, tá bom? Deixa ele só explicar o que é o Fluency Pack. Depois, quando a gente estiver fazendo exercício, eu quero todo mundo aqui participando com a gente, tá bom? Alguém já usou o Fluency Pack antes? Olha, tem um monte de gente. Oh, there are some people here who have used it before, yes. Oh, legal, legal. Mas quem não usou também, fica aí que é bem interessante, tá bom? Okay, go on.
Now, for those of you that don't know, what is a Fluency Pack? Like Teacher Ka was saying, maybe some of you have used something like this before. Maybe some of you don't really know what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys really quick what a Fluency Pack is. So normally we can have, obviously, our classes on Cambly, and we can have interactions with teachers. And when you sign up for Cambly, we already include some material. Some slides, some test prep, things like that.
But João has written here that he loved it. He has used it. Que ele usou, adorou, João. Legal, João Pedro respondeu aqui. Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you, João. And for all of those of you who want to study what João has studied already or something of the kind, we have this Fluency Pack. Now, as you can see, it's just a little group of exercises, of videos, of access to content that can really strengthen your English speaking, writing, reading abilities, etc. So the Fluency Pack here includes some reading, a couple of video classes, some real exercises that we're actually going to start to do together, and of course, the live interaction. Right? Now, there are some good reading, some good texts that give you nice tips overall for how to lose your embarrassment, how to be more confident. There are some phrasal verbs, and there's a guide here for how to use phrasal verbs or when to use them. And of course, like Teacher Ka might have mentioned, there is also a little section for job interviews. I know that many of you either want to get a new job in an English-speaking country, with an English-speaking company, or maybe even if you're applying for university, for a master's or PhD, this is going to help you a lot. How to prepare for an interview in English, what kind of questions, what kind of tips we can offer, things like that. Now, with English in other areas, we have some other videos that can help you complement your knowledge that we already gave. For example, we have videos on acronyms. We have a video about writing with yours truly, me, and a video about some slang. All right. So all of that, like I said, is just a click away, and you're going to be able to watch that, understand the subject, and of course, practice it with any other Cambly tutor that you find, right? Now, that is not all. Actually, we have some exercises for us to do. There is an English practice book, and then there is a sort of evaluation test, just so that you guys have a little bit of an idea of where you're at level-wise, right? And then, of course, the practice book, which you're going to be able to do alone, and we're going to do a little bit of that together right now.
Ok, pessoal, vocês que ainda não entraram lá no Fluency Pack, entra aqui na descrição do vídeo, tá bom? Aqui no chat também estamos com essa descrição do English Pack. E aqui também estamos com o link no chat. E nós vamos estar com essa promoção durante 4 horas. Então, aproveite agora e use esse link para você ter 50% de desconto, tá bom? Pack já. Ou Pack já Kids, tá bom?
All right, excellent. So, guys, I'm going to download this really quick. I'm going to open it in an app that lets me write on it, and then we're going to start explaining some of these concepts. Like, what are they? What is the grammar behind it? What are the rules or some other tips that we may have, okay? We're going to go slowly, so don't worry if you don't get it the first time. We will explain, and I have a lot of students that speak Portuguese. Most of them are from Brazil, some from some other countries. So I'm very aware, I'm very familiar about many difficulties that many of you have. Okay? So don't worry, guys.
O Teacher Qual é aquele tutor que você pode contar a qualquer hora, para qualquer coisa. Você precisa de ajuda com slangs, com gírias, você pode procurar o Tutor Qual. Gramática, ele ajuda também pra caramba. Teacher Qual é aquele lá, aquele bonzão lá. Você pode aproveitar e entrar em contato. Ele está entendendo, o Teacher Qual entende. Então, você pode falar com ele, porque ele te ajuda muito, gente. Eu tenho muitas aulas com ele, e ele ajuda bastante, ajudando o material assim, que a gente tem no Cambly. E o Teacher Qual é maravilhoso. Você pode aproveitar o Teacher Qual para ajudar também, tá bom?
Excellent.
E olha aqui, guys, pessoal, não esqueça de deixar aqui as perguntas que vocês tiverem, se tiverem alguma dúvida também. Ele vai falar de alguns exercícios, não vai dar tempo da gente falar de todos ainda também, porque o Cambly Fluency Pack, os exercícios são bastantes, mas nós vamos entrar, assim, nós vamos ver alguns, assim, só picadinhos, mas se você tiver alguma dúvida, pode deixar aqui no chat. E também quero que vocês participem, tá bom?
All right. Excellent. So, guys, I have this open in another app that's going to let me write on it. And I'm just going to share that with you. And we're going to go piece by piece, explaining some exercises, but of course, not all of them. So you also have the opportunity to practice them and really, really learn what they are. All right. Now, let's get started. Obviously, we open the English practice book. You know, we have a nice little picture here, and we start off at page 1. Okay.
Preposição, não. Gente. Quem tem dúvida de preposição aí? Ai, gente, preposição, eu acho que é uma coisa que deixa a gente de cabelo em pé, né? Okay,
right. So this is actually a very, very complicated subject for many people, for Brazilians, for people from Portugal, from people from anywhere, because prepositions are kind of diverse and kind of complex. All right, so we have to make sure that we at least have a general idea of when to use them and how to use them. Like we were saying, we're not going to do absolutely every one of them, but we're going to do a couple just so that you understand the grammar or the idea behind it, right? For example, let's start off with number 6, right? When her mother died, she put the apartment blank for sale. Just if you don't know, we're going to use these prepositions to make sure that we can fill in the blanks, okay? That means that in this blank, one of these one goes, maybe we can repeat it, maybe we can repeat it here, right?
Okay.
But for now, for number 6.
Quem sabe essa resposta aí, gente, do número 6?
Of course, if anybody knows, write it down in the comments. Tell us what you think. If you're right, good. If you're wrong, don't worry. We're going to explain it here, and we're going to explain why.
Ah, right? O pessoal já está colocando aqui, ó. For sale. For sale. Um monte de gente colocou for.
Let's write one option. For.
Any other ones? On sale aqui também.
On. All right. So, to explain, when we say when her mother died, she put the apartment up. She put up the apartment for sale or on sale. This is quite a good pair of options. Why? Because they are both used sometimes, but to explain different things, okay? This doesn't mean that both of them are correct. It just means that both the expression for sale and on sale exist. So, the fact of the matter is that here, the correct answer is for. Why? We generally use for to explain intentions. When we explain our intent or how or for whom we are going to do something. Okay?
Ah, que legal. Remember, olha aí, uma coisa legal que ele falou, que a gente usa o for quando a gente tem uma intenção. Para quem, né? Para que a gente tem essa intenção? Aí usa o for. Por isso usa o for nessa opção aí.
Right. Now, as Teacher Ka was mentioning, I understand a little bit of Portuguese, even though I don't speak it. But I know that many of my Portuguese-speaking students, many Brazilian students, have the difficulty because they say something like pra or para. I'm not really sure which one.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's why it's so confusing, because they think, well, teacher, in my language, we just use one. Why do you complicate everything in English? And that's because of this, right? The very simple reason is that different preposition can sometimes mean a different thing, okay? In this case, we're explaining an intention. We're going to sell that, right? We want some cash. So, for sale. When something is on sale, it means that it has a discount, okay? So, on sale basically means discount. For example, if I say the computer is on sale, notice how the verb is the verb to be, is. The computer is, and then on sale describes its characteristics, right? It has a lower price. It has a discount. So on sale, we can use it when we're talking about a discount, right? But when her mother died, probably she didn't want to give a discount. Probably she was just talking about the intention of selling, okay? So here, we just want to say, when her mother died, she put up the apartment for sale. Okay? Again, remember, guys, this is for intention. I buy the cake for my wife, or I got a gift for my mom, right?
It is for you.
Is for you, for him. This apartment is for selling. Okay? Perfect. Now, we're going to go on to the next one. Let's say number 11, right? I am blank a diet, so don't buy me chocolate, right? Now,
Alguém
this
sabe
again,
a resposta do número 11 aí?
Any takers? Boom, boom, boom.
In a diet.
In a diet.
On a diet.
On. Any other options?
No.
I don't think so,
Many
right?
people are using on.
All right, on. And that is actually correct. Right. When we say on, we can mean many different things. But on, physically, if we're talking about on, we're talking about on top, right? On. So on the surface of something. But because we use this to describe physical positions, as a physical preposition, we also use it metaphorically as a metaphor to describe platforms. So, for example, there was a news article on, for example, Facebook, or on the internet, or on whatever, right?
On Cambly. Can I use on Cambly?
On Cambly, of course. We can say, I had a class on Cambly, right?
Okay.
So we generally use on for platforms, for systems, or just to simply say on something, like on top, on the surface, okay? I have a hat on my head, but in this case, think of ourselves as a little tiny person who is trying to be healthier, and they are on a diet.
Então, vocês entenderam aí por que é on a diet nesse caso? Aí quem colocou in.
In, right. I was also getting to that. So
no. I'm just asking them if they could understand why we use on instead of in.
Right.
Okay, you can explain why. You can explain why not in.
Excellent. So in is similarly used for physical or non-physical things. And when we're talking about objects, we talk about something being inside. In is usually a little bit easier to memorize because we can think of something that is in, right? For example, there is something in the box, right? Or inside, right? For example, I found a word in, right? In an article. It's inside. It's not on it, but the article is on Cambly or on another browser or on another thing, okay?
Okay.
So that's what we want to mention, okay? We don't use in this case because it's not really inside, and we are not inside a diet, right? We're on a diet, on a platform, on a way of living, or on a way of acting, okay? So again here, that would be on. Okay. Now let's do one last one, like number 15. So Mary is blank, university, and comes home every week.
Número 15, pessoal. Quem consegue acertar aí? Mary is in. Tem gente que respondeu in, at. In and at.
Right. Okay. This is an excellent confusion, because if we want to be very strict, we have to say that both of them can be correct.
E só, pessoal, ele falou que dá para usar os dois. Mas aí, let's
but I'll explain why. And I'll explain why in some situations, one is better. And in other situations, another one might be better. Okay, so let's start with at. When do we use at? Well, at is considered like the most general, useful prepositions of places, right? We usually would use the preposition at to describe the place we are. So that means I'm at the store. I'm at school, right? I'm at the hospital,
então, ele está falando que o at é usado mais para lugares, né? Então, se eu quiser falar, eu estou na escola, no hospital, então eu uso at.
Right. But remember, this is an emphasis of place, okay? So that means if we're looking at it on a map, when we're saying at, we're just talking about one point in a map, for example, okay? We're not really talking about how big it is, how small it is, where we are in the building or anything like that, just the place. So if the hospital is really big, we don't really know. We're just saying the location, right? The hospital. That's it. That is why we can also say in. Now, obviously, if we think of a hospital, it's a very big building. So we might be in floor number 1 and floor number 2 in another department, right? So we might be in because we're inside. Think of the hospital as a box, right? The one that we were saying a little bit before. I'm inside a box, right? So I might be here in the hospital. I might be here. I might be here. And that would be, for example, I'm in the emergency unit, or I'm in the doctor's office, or I'm in the pediatric unit.
Okay, how can you answer this question? Teacher Qual, where are you right now?
For example, I am at my home in my office. So at just describes a place, a general place, like the whole thing, right? At. And if we want to be a little bit more specific of the building, I'm in my office.
Gente, isso aí é uma dúvida bem comum, né? Vocês entenderam essa explicação do Teacher Qual? O at vai ser no geral, né? Tipo um lugar no geral. Mas se você especificar o local, né? Certinho, você vai dentro de algum lugar, vai ser in. Dentro do quarto, dentro da sala, dentro do banheiro. Então é in. Tá bom? Okay. But in this case...
In this case, exactly. That's what interests us. So what case would be better? Well, remember, because we're using at for location, at has the limitation of only talking about physical things, right? Physical locations. And in can be in your mind, for example, right? Don't worry about that. It's all in your mind. Or I heard it in a song. So it doesn't always have to be physical. And university is sometimes just a word that describes her education. So we're not talking about Mary being at Harvard, right? No, she is in university. This is her education. So probably in this one, we want to say in. If we say at,
if it were school instead of university, it would be the same too.
The same, exactly. Now, again, guys, grammatically, there is no reason why at would be wrong, like wrong. It entirely depends on your intention. And intention is usually read with context, okay? So that's why, guys, we can usually never answer something unless we really understand what the writer means. So again, we don't really have an absolute answer here, but if we go down to the answer sheet, we're probably going to be able to see that, what was it? It was number 15, at. So they meant at the university.
Like a place, like in general.
Like a place, right? Which is why we were saying Mary is at university, right? And that would be completely correct, unless we were talking about inside or in her education. All right. So we're going to go on to a few more exercises. This is a little curveball for you guys. This is a little bit of a challenging exercises, which is prefixes, okay? Now, for those of you that don't know, a prefix is a little section that goes in front of a word to make it a different meaning. For example, happy means this, and unhappy means sad, right? The only problem is that in English, the English language has contributions from many languages, from Latin, from Greek, from Germanic, from Arabic, even a little bit, very, very little, from Spanish, from Portuguese. So each one of these prefixes usually comes from different languages. For example, in comes from Latin, and un comes from Greek, I believe. Right? Don't quote me on that, but the point of the matter is that they come from different places. So even though sometimes they mean very similar things, they're kind of all over the place. They're kind of disorganized, and we can't really have one single rule because they do apply differently. For example, unhappy, right? We say unhappy.
There are some people here writing incorrect. Is it correct?
Exactly. Incorrect.
Dislike.
We say dislike. We say illegible, and so on and so on. I'm not going to answer it for you guys because that's part of the challenge. And you can, of course, do that. And if you need any help, you can, of course, contact any Cambly tutor, and we'll be happy to help you. But let's go on to something different. For example, the verb tenses, which I know are really, really complicated sometimes. Really, really, really complicated. All right. And each one of them has its own intention. We have rules for each one of them, and we, can use it with a little bit of flexibility or rigidity depending on the context. Let's take this one, for example. I go the store next Tuesday. Present continuous. Now, does anybody know the formula for present continuous? Because there is a formula for this one. It's not only about verbs.
Teacher Qual, there's a question here because the question is that next Tuesday is future, isn't it? And
yes.
The person is confused about present continuous.
Good question. Well, this is the base of the intention. So present continuous can be basically used for two different intentions. For a plan, or for something that is happening now. You can't plan for the past, and you can't really plan for the present. So a plan refers to the future.
Viu só, pessoal? Então, present continuous a gente não usa só numa situação que está acontecendo no momento. A gente usa também para planejar, para falar de futuro. Então, não dá para planejar o presente e o passado, só o futuro. Então, usa o present continuous para falar de planos. Então, por isso, aí o present continuous é usado no next Tuesday. No próximo terça.
Right. So, again, we can use it for plans for the future, or we can describe something that is happening now, right? We use the present continuous to emphasize, when we're talking about now, we're emphasizing something that is not immediate. It's usually a process. It takes 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 days, but it's not immediate. So,
okay, Juliana
like it says,
wrote here ing verb.
Yes, but we have something a little bit extra, and it is essential, and that is the verb to be. Okay. So we have the verb to be, and then we add the verb ending in ing. So if we say I, what is the appropriate verb to be for I?
Am.
It would be I am, exactly. I am, and then the verb. So let's practice that. I am. What is the verb here?
Going.
In this case, exactly, we have go. So we say I am go plus ing, To, of course, we need to indicate the direction to the store.
Okay, Mario wrote down here, I'm going to São Paulo next week.
Perfect. Yeah. Now, because obviously we're talking about next week, you're talking about a plan. So you see the context, like I was saying before, gives you that necessary information.
Okay.
If we want to include more information, we just include that in the context.
Okay, Sandra wrote down here, I'm buying a new house next month.
Perfect. That is also a plan. So if you didn't include the next month, you're not talking about the future. If you say, I am buying a house, you're kind of talking about a process that is happening now. But of course, buying a house, you can't really do that in one day, right? It takes a long time. Yeah, we wish it was that easy, but we can't. So we have to take some time in the present, and it's continuous. So we can either use it like one of our lovely students said, for the future, for planning a trip to Sao Paulo, or for now, something that takes a while. Okay, it can be a couple of minutes or hours, or it can be months, as long as it lasts a period of time. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do this one. Let's do this one that's right here. And this is something that we get a lot of questions about. Now, the explanation for past perfect is kind of complex, okay? And it's one of the questions that I guess get asked most as a tutor from my students. And the formula is actually a little bit similar to the present continuous in that it has an extra little verb, okay?
Had.
The extra verb is
here.
have. Right. The past perfect is had, and the present perfect is have. So because we have the past perfect, we say had. But in this case, remember, guys, this is just the extra one we're adding. This is not the main verb. Okay. The main verb is right here. So for saying the past perfect of this verb, we don't say had. We say had, and then that past one had. We had.
Juliana wrote down here that past perfect is very difficult.
It is very difficult, Juliana, but don't worry. Past perfect and many other verb tenses, although they can be very difficult, are, as long as you have a good explanation, as long as you're helped by a good tutor, you're going to be able to get past it. Okay. Many of us have background in grammar and linguistics. We have teaching degrees, so we're going to be able to teach you anything that you need. Okay. So for this formula, had, because of this auxiliary verb, and then this one in the past participle, we had an accident.
Viu, Ju? Então, olha só. Não fica com isso na cabeça que é difícil, não, porque você vai conseguir. Olha aí, pega essa fórmula que o teacher Qual falou, que você vai usar o had, o verbo, o auxiliar, que você vai ter que usar o had, mas o verbo, o particípio do passado do verbo, que é o quê? Que é o have. O particípio passado do verbo to have, qual que é? É o had. Então, você vai usar had. Sim, você vai usar o had junto aí e continuar a frase. Tá bom?
Excellent. Exactly. So we use that formula and then whatever else.
Gente, se vocês não aproveitaram ainda, Pack já, aproveite para 50% de desconto. Pack já Kids, para vocês também terem 50% de desconto no Cambly Kids, tá bom? Aproveite agora, 50% de desconto, tá? Aproveite essa live aí para vocês poderem ter aulas com tutores nativos. É muito legal, gente. Qual é um tutor que você tem que aproveitar realmente, ter aula com ele que vocês vão adorar. Você pode falar de tudo. Você quer falar, eu não quero falar de gramática porque eu já sei. Pode falar de outro assunto que ele é fera. Ele é muito bom. Pode aproveitar, tá bom? Ele e outros tutores também, mas Teacher Qual, eu tenho certeza que ele vai te ajudar em muita coisa.
All right. So guys, I hope you learned a little bit. There are more exercises on the Fluency Pack. Go get it. Go sign up. You can talk to me. You can talk to literally thousands of tutors. And, well, we can't wait to have you. So I hope to see you in the class.
Pessoal,
and in the meantime, take advantage of this and enjoy.
Desculpa por não ter respondido todo mundo, tá bom? Mas da próxima vez, se Deus quiser, a gente consegue responder todo mundo, tá bom? Prazer, obrigado por todos estarem aqui com a gente. Espero vocês aqui no próximo, tá bom? Bye, bye, guys! Vão lá no Cambly, aproveite esse código agora. Pack já, 50% de desconto. Pack já Kids, vão lá. Bye, guys! Bye, bye!